Hi roses, my name is Tianna and welcome to today's reading. In honor of Valentine's Day, I wanted to make a reading all about your next partner. This is your reading if you have an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus sign. If you do not but still feel drawn to this reading, please feel free to stay. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. If you enjoyed this reading, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are interested in more tarot content from me, you can find my Twitter at Tianna Rose Tarot, or use the link in the description box to book a personal reading with me. First, we have the card Full Moon in Capricorn, Take a Reality Check. And then we have the card New Moon in Aquarius, Open Up to Change. So this is always something that people can consider when looking for a new partner, is wondering whether their standards are too high. And in this case, it is possible that you may be closing yourself off from connections that could be really deeply fulfilling to you based on something that might be a bit more superficial. I believe that if your intuition is telling you to look for somebody else instead, that you should trust that. But if you know that you have a tendency to self-sabotage, or if you find yourself constantly trying with the same type of person and not really seeing different results, this may be a time that you want to consider if you are asking for something either really, really specific that might just not exist in a lot of people around you. And that doesn't mean that you need to settle. You can definitely continue searching for this person or waiting for them to come into your life if and when they do so. But if you want a partner at this point, you may want to consider broadening what you are looking for, figuring out what things really are deal breakers, and not just lessening those, but understanding why certain things are deal breakers. Really getting to the core of why your standards are the way they are, not so that you could change them, but so that you can understand if you're actually wanting what you're really wanting. Do you want somebody that's of a certain height? Or are you thinking that you want that just because you want to feel a certain way with your partner? Maybe you want to feel smaller, or you want to feel protected. Those are some things that maybe you actually might need to heal within yourself, or that you could find in a person that might not have the same necessarily traits on paper, but could actually ultimately help you feel that way. So take some time to think about that. For others of you, if you find yourselves continuing to try with the same type of people, you may be attracted to a certain type that is coming from more of an attachment response or a trauma response, and not actually what you were really looking for either. And so some of you at this time may want to consider if there is a different type of person that you would be open to exploring and seeing if that feels good to you. There is an opportunity here to grow, to change, to adapt. And as I said before, that does not mean lessening your standards. It does not mean changing what you're looking for. If that doesn't feel good to you, do not force yourself to be with somebody that you don't feel a spark with, that you don't feel inspired by, that you don't feel like they're in alignment with who you are. However, you may want to consider if you can broaden your desires a little bit, or just have a better understanding of why you want the things that you want, so that you can be more clear when you do find those people. Let's see what else is coming up in your next partner. In your next partner, this is somebody who is going to be a little bit more practical, and at the same time, somebody who can be a bit more of a visionary, perhaps. It's possible that one of you would take on one of these energies and the other person would take on the other more so. Or you could find a person who has both in some combination. For example, this could be somebody who has big goals for themselves, but takes really practical steps to get there. This could be somebody that has strong desires for the change they want to see in the world, but also is not being unrealistic with what that can look like. This is somebody who can kind of help you to feel more grounded, while also creating space for you to explore like the full extent of expansion within yourself. So I don't think that this person is necessarily going to be either overly practical, cynical, or any of those things, while also this person is not going to be too head in the clouds. They're going to have a good balance of both. Let's see what else is coming in this new partner for you. We have the card Love Yourself First. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. So for some of you, maybe the reality check is not necessarily about changing what you're looking for in a partner, but changing your kind of whole approach to dating, perhaps taking some more time to really learn how to love yourself before you start looking for that in somebody else, and recognizing that maybe some of the qualities that you're looking for in a partner are actually things that you could provide for yourself, or that you could find in friendships or other things like that, and that there might be other areas of your life that you want to strengthen instead of trying to put all of that into a partner. This is also about respecting yourself, not lowering your standards or not putting yourself in positions that do not feel aligned to you. And remembering that you can continue to grow and to change, that you're not stuck into a situation or who you once was, that you're not necessarily going to act the same way that you have in previous connections, that you're always approaching this in a slightly new way. And every connection is going to bring up new things that you didn't necessarily know were there. And so there's a lot that you might need to heal through as you go through that process, and recognize that maybe you're not quite as healed as you thought, but it is not necessarily linear, and it is always going to continue being there as an option for you to continue to heal. So you don't necessarily have to not date at all if you're still in this journey of loving yourself and of healing. Some things can happen more easily when you're on your own, and some things can happen more easily when you're with a partner. This is also somebody who feels really attractive to people that respect themselves. This is somebody who wants you to respect yourself, wants you to be confident, wants you to stand up tall. They're proud to be with you, even if you can't necessarily see that in yourself. Then we have calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So if you are calling in somebody that feels quite specific, this is a sign that they are on their way. If you've been questioning if you're asking for something that doesn't exist, but you've thought clearly about it and you understand why you want the things that you want, and they are all important to you, then 100% know that this person is out there and you are calling them in as we speak. Don't give up on that, even if it takes a long time. And lastly, we have release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. For some of you, you might not be ready quite yet to date somebody else. And you want to make sure that you're not getting into something just to be a rebound, or something that is going to temporarily distract you from the other things that really are still kind of bothering you, staying heavy on your heart. But you will be reaching a point where you know that what happened in the past was not right for you, and that you will be meeting somebody who feels more right for you. It might take another person to help you realize that maybe your standards really weren't being met before. And so you're going to be seeing with this new person, this new partner that you're calling in, that you're not even thinking about your ex anymore. But make sure that you're taking the time now to really heal through that in all of the ways that you are able to, and the ways that feel good to you at this point, so that you can be prepared for when this person comes in. All right, I hope this resonates, and happy Valentine's Day.